All right, today we have an absolute fun one that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I typically get most of my meat at Costco, and they only do these around Thanksgiving and around Christmas time. Maybe Easter too, but only like 2 or 3 times a year. So bone-in pork loin, so it's called a bone-in pork roast, pork loin roast, whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna be butterflying this open, stuffing it with apples, onions, and goat cheese, and show you guys how I do that. Here we go. Before I butterfly this pork loin open, I got some onions cooking down here. Once those get done, probably like 2 more minutes, I'm just gonna pull them off the heat, and I'm gonna throw these apples in. I got some green apples and red apples, just kind of diced up, and just nice little chunk sizes. But once that is off the heat, these are gonna be added, and I'm getting ready to show you how I'm gonna butterfly this. Right, first time doing this, so the bones are coming over the top here. I'm gonna pick this line, because it's right about here, and I'm gonna start my way down. This brisket knife is one of the sharpest knives I've got, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna go down, straight down, about a 30-degree angle until I hit this little spot, and I'm gonna pull the knife sideways. As you can see that I went down and then into it. I'm gonna cut a little bit more. Pull this back, that's good. Just gonna keep going. There's a couple different ways to do this, but this way works pretty good. So that gets to about right to the edge. You wanna have about a 1/2 inch or an inch on this side over here, just so that folds over. Just like that. So everything's laid open wide. Now you got a big flat pork chop. Coolest thing about this cut of meat is you have the baby back ribs on this side. Then you have this whole piece of meat here that I get to stuff with the apples, onions, butter, and goat cheese. I might even put a little bit of cinnamon in it, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do there here in a second. All right, got the onions and butter cooked down. Everything was getting pretty good there, so I just threw the apples in. I didn't cook them. I did not cook the apples on the heat. Okay, so that part's crucial. You don't want this all getting all mushy, so when you put them in there, because it's probably gonna smoke at 250 for close to 2 hours, so it hits that 140 mark. I'm gonna run my meter in there today. I got it all figured out. If you guys have one of these and it's ever not working, this bottom part here, that sensor that charges it here, you have to make sure that thing is like shiny every time you use it. I was having an issue and then I figured that out, and it's not been a problem since. So today I'm also gonna be seasoning with the Simply Marvelous Spicy Apple. If you've never tried this before, hit up your local spot, see if you can find it there. If you cannot find this at a local barbecue store, just order it online. This stuff is awesome. Get on Instagram, follow them too. They got some really good stuff. So I'm gonna do a very light coating on the inside here, not much at all. Then I'm gonna lay, there we go. Might as well season the top of these ribs while I'm at it. Good. So then I'm gonna lay in the apples and the onions. So you can see the pan's not hot anymore. So I actually put it in the fridge for 30 minutes and it made a huge difference. So really cool it off quick. Not sure if I'm gonna use all of it. I'm just gonna kind of see what this looks like as I'm putting it in there. For you guys who like to comment about me touching the meat, I haven't even touched it yet, so chill out. So I'm gonna put this on here. That might be enough. Try to make it even. Not too concerned with it hanging out the side, because I'm going to tie it up anyway, so everything will stay put. Now this next part, we're having a problem finding goat cheese around here. I don't know if y'all like goat cheese. If you don't, then don't use it. You could use something else, but it just seems to be a very good complement to what we're going to be using here. So we're going to be doing the sweet and the sweet onions and the apple sweetness with that spicy rub. So that goat cheese is going to be the good complement to it. I'm not gonna put you through watching me break this whole brick up, but I'm gonna lay it all in here and I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done. All right, as you can see, the goat cheese is all laid out in there. Next thing I'm gonna do is roll this up, hopefully get it pretty tight. I have 7 pieces of rope cut here, and with the 7 pieces of rope, I'm gonna put one in between each bone, and I'm gonna snug it up nice and tight so nothing can hopefully pop out. If it falls out when I'm tying it up now, that's all right, but no big deal. So there's the first one. I'm gonna take this over the top. A little stretch to it, that's cool. Like that. As you can see, everything is some stuff squirting out the side, and that's all right. I'll just stuff it back in. This side looks perfect. All right. This is just a butcher twine that I actually just found on Amazon. It was like the cheapest one, and it was like $6 for like 50 feet or something. So I went ahead and picked it up. Kind of drag it under there, up and around the top. I seen this butcher guy doing tying up this roast he was doing on it might have been a bone-in beef one, but he had this real fancy method he was doing where he's looping it through like fisherman's knot style and stuff, and I'm just not that fancy, so that'll work for today. I'm gonna end up clipping those tags off too. Go ahead and get this tied up, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, there she is all wrapped up. So you can come through and French these bones and take some of that rib meat out. I just chose to keep it in. It's my first one I've ever done, so I'm just gonna keep it in there. Got a nice little roll there. Get the whole thing rubbed down with that good Simply Marvelous spicy apple. It's a really good rub. I'm thinking with the sweetness inside there. Also, something detail I almost forgot to mention was this was actually brined for 6 hours in a apple and peach juice mix. So hopefully it turns out pretty good. But we're gonna get it thrown in the smoker at 250. I'm gonna plug this meter in, I think just right down the middle here. And hopefully that's a good spot for it because there's a bunch of juice or a bunch of filling in there. So hopefully I can angle it maybe down through here where I can catch that lip right there and then catch that the backside too. And that'll give me a really good reading on the temperature wise. So gonna cook at 250 to about 135, 140-ish. And then just depending on how it looks, I may bring it inside and throw it on the broiler, just depending on how this fat cap turns out. I really want to get it crispy. I did not trim a bunch of fat off of this, didn't do anything to that. So the plan is to just get that nice and crispy if I need to in the broiler. And then once I'm ready to slice it, take each one of these pieces of butcher twine off and have some nice thick pork chops there. So let you know how it goes. So I'm getting ready to throw this on. I'm allowing this smoke to get a little bit cleaner. It's been dirty, but I'm not sure if I made a happy little mistake or a big mistake. When I grabbed my juice off of the rack yesterday, the deal, it's actually white grape and peach, so it's not apple juice. I think when you brine, you're really just going to try to get the sugar out of it. I'm not sure how much flavor it's going to add when I do the smoke afterwards, but I guess we're going to find out. Here it comes.
I was confused when you were like, I gotta turn it on. I'm like, what?
There we go. It's getting a little late, but I'm getting it on. So what time is it? 4:30? Yeah, it's probably 4:30 or so. So this might take 2 hours to cook, as you can see. It looks freaking awesome, I think. That rub should really complement everything I've done to it pretty well. So I'm gonna get it on the middle rack. Got this thing set at 250. Man, I'm losing some goat cheese. Just stuff it back in there. Pretty side out. Here we go. So she's set. Meter is in. I'm gonna have that thing set up to go off once it hits 135, and then we're good to go. Here we are at the first hour mark. I'm gonna take a peek at it. Haven't checked yet. It's looking pretty good though. That rub gives it awesome color. So I'm definitely thinking I'm gonna have to put it under the broiler, get this fat cap nice and crispy, but that's not a problem. So do that here in probably another hour. So I had my grill set at 250, and the temperature on the meter was only reading at like 219, 215, in that little range right there. So I figured I wanted to bump it up. So I bumped it up to 270, 275. It's 275 right now. And now I'm reading right about 260. So considering that the meter is like way up here and that temperature probe on this smoker is way down here, going to give you a lot more accurate reading. So a little tip of the day, if you will, if you have one of these, or if you're cooking on a higher rack or whatever, people say, well, heat rises. Well, no shit. But when it's being sucked out the back, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the heat should be, because the heat's coming out of the bottom. So the hottest part's going to be right by the probe, and then as it comes up and out, maybe it's swirling in there a little bit and then getting sucked out the back. I'm not a physicist, so I don't really freaking know, but I do know that it was reading about 20 degrees off, and now it's still in that 10 to 15 degree range, but bumping it up gets it at that temperature that I really like to be at. So it should be put me on the right path where I want to be to get it done the way I want. I didn't want to cook it like low and slow, like 225. So bumped it up, and that should be better. All right, my meter's telling me I've got about 10 minutes left, This bad boy is looking good. Oh, the cheese is just, it was in a little bit. That's looking nice. Sorry the camera's like this, but it just is what it is. I went ahead and mixed up a little glaze to put on here. It's one I saw out of a book, and I actually saw another dude do this too, but it's just garlic, salt, pepper, red pepper flake, little apple cider vinegar, a little bit of honey. I don't know I just mixed my own stuff up, so I didn't really check like exactly what the amounts were and everything. So anyway, I just mixed it up until I thought it tasted good. And I'm gonna glaze this up. Just give it a little shine as we're finishing up here. So it looks pretty good. And when I put it in the broiler to finish it off, I really put some more on too. Just makes it shine. Just a little more. So yeah, 10 more minutes supposedly, and I'm gonna pull it off. I'll let it rest. That's once it hits 138. That's what I set it at. And then once it hits that point, let it rest. And then right when I'm getting ready to serve it, I'm gonna throw it in. I might throw it in the broiler. I don't know. This fat cap's feeling pretty good. I'll just have to eyeball it and see. Everything you do, you should be doing more things off of feel than off of what you think ahead of time, because sometimes you just don't know until you get done. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave it on there. All right, so it's been about an hour and 40 minutes. I let it rest for 10 minutes. This is the first pork loin roast I've ever done with the bone in. I went to Costco to get see if I can get a deal on something cheap, because everything's so freaking expensive right now. I saw another big channel do a pork loin roast that didn't have the bone in it, and that's one of the cheapest things you can get up there. It's like $1.99 a pound. I got a giant 12-pound log of that, and it was like, I think it was only 23 bucks. And then I had an $8 off coupon at the register. So you can make this exact same thing with the bone out. Just want to let you know that so you can get that. And that's a really cheap cut of meat. We have 3 4-pound logs in the freezer ready to go. So first look, haven't looked at it since it's been resting in here, but it looks great. It looked great pulling it off. I'm gonna get these strings off of here, and then I'm gonna cut right into the middle of it, I think. I did not put this under the broiler. I didn't feel the need to. I think it's going to be nice and tender the way it is. I don't really want to crisp it up. I didn't want to overcook it either. I had that thing. That meter is really, really nice. Once you get it dialed in and working, and you keep it clean, because that time I was having an issue with it. It was not working. You can see it starting to open up. Look at that juice right there. I'm interested to see how the rib meat turns out. You cook those for a lot longer usually, so we're gonna see how that turns out, but I definitely know this part's gonna be good. Get these out of there. There we go. Let's go in the trash. All right. So what I'm gonna do is go in between these bones. I'm gonna cut right down the middle. Do a quick little opening there. Oh yeah. Oh my God, look at that. Look how juicy that is. Can you see that? Wow, that's gonna be killer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut a pork chop out of there and take first bite, I guess. Uh-oh, hit the bone a little bit, deviate, there we go. Man, these are some freaking thick pork chops. All right, got my knife and fork here. Isn't that cool? See you got your baby back rib right there, and then you got your pork chop here. I'm gonna try to cut a piece off of this hunk here, and I'm gonna scoop in some goat cheese and apple with it. It looks a little hot still. I hate to burn my mouth on the best bite, but we're gonna find out. Very good. Sorry, the goat cheese is a little thick, but it's pretty good. I like it better than a regular pork chop. That is so freaking tender and so juicy. You can't get that when you grill. That's awesome. You see this right here too. I'm gonna cut a piece of that dark part off. That's just the end piece there, so. Wow, that whole thing is super smoky. That is awesome. Yeah, might as well, since we're here. What I just found out there, that spicy rub complements that awesome. So these only cook for an hour and 40 minutes. Let's see how they are. Actually, they're freaking awesome. So you get a pork chop and a rib. So that's a freaking deal right there. I think this was 6.2 pounds and I paid 18 bucks for it. That's a good bite. Definitely check out that rub. See, everything's juicy. That's awesome. So like I said though, I turned my grill up at 275 and then I finished it off at, after like 20 minutes I cranked it up because I wanted my grill at 250 and it was more like 260, 265 the whole time and it came out freaking great. So if you like what you're seeing, please like, please subscribe. I'm a little over 500 subscribers trying to hit that 1,000 mark, so appreciate you helping me out. Thanks a lot.